There are some places where the cowboy way of life lives on, where people greet each other by name, where your word stands for something, and where a howdy is worth its weight in gold. Around here, we call that place Wyoming. For us, the cowboy way of life is the Wyoming way of life.
I'm proud to say I think Wyoming is the cowboy state. And when you're the cowboy state and you have the bunking bronc on your license plate, you need to celebrate the Western tradition and the history. And so when I think about rodeo, I love it as a spectator sport. I just love watching it. It's fun. But to me, it has much greater meaning to the state of Wyoming and to the West than just that particular time you're watching it. It's looking back and seeing, how the West was settled. It's celebrating ag in our state. It's celebrating the young people who learn life lessons on ranches, as I had the opportunity to do. And my hope is it not just celebrates our history and culture, and it's not just a celebration of the now, but forever, that'll always be a great part of Wyoming.
Among our nearly 98,000 square miles of wide open spaces, residents and visitors alike find abundant examples of this. From horse drives through Sheridan to the cattle drive at Cheyenne Frontier Days, and our state license plates to small town rodeos and the cowgirls and cowboys who compete in them.
Right there, sit up! Sit up! Sit up!
Some of our best cowgirls and cowboys are a part of a team at the Wyoming Office of Tourism called Team Wyoming. This year, Team Wyoming had 7 members that competed, including Dusty Tuckness, Nate Justice, Chet Johnson, Cassidy Cruz, J.R. Vizane, Seth Hardwick, and Clayton Savage. And joining this year's ranks is the newest member of Team Wyoming, Brody Kress. While all of the members of Team Wyoming have competed in the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo during their careers, this year 4 of our professional rodeo athletes are in Las Vegas. Bullfighters Dusty Tuckness and Nate Justice, bareback rider J.R. Vizane, and saddle bronc rider Brody Kress.
A common thing amongst all the men and women who have been on Team Wyoming is, I think, great grit. I mean, you've got to have grit to have those good rodeos and those hard rodeos, the travel time, the lost sleep, the injuries. It's very difficult. So that, I think, is one thing that all of them have in common. But then beyond that, I view each one of them as an ambassador, not just for the sport of rodeo, but Wyoming in and of itself. I am proud to have them go out there and represent our state.
2017 brought good fortune to Wyoming in the form of National High School Finals Rodeo in Gillette, the College National Finals Rodeo in Casper, and the election of Douglas's Dixie Huxtable as the president of the board of directors for the National High School Rodeo Association. 2017 also had members of Team Wyoming competing in rodeos across Wyoming and around the country, while both J.R. Vizane and Seth Hardwick qualified and competed in the Canadian Finals Rodeo in November. This year, bareback rider J.R. Vizane has had the best regular season of his career and ranked number 4 going into the NFR.
Being part of Team Wyoming is special to me because we're the only state that does it. There's a lot of good competitors from other states, but they don't have a backing from their state like we do. I think that's pretty special and pretty awesome that Wyoming offers that to cowboys and cowgirls that make the finals, and the whole state is behind us, and not only our family and friends, but the whole state's proud of our accomplishments and what we get to do. I think that's pretty neat.
Hey, Wyoming, that's a bareback rider right there.
Wyoming's favorite son in the bareback riding. This is J.R. Vizane, Cowley, Wyoming.
Obviously, when you start rodeoing, your biggest dream is to make the yellow bucking shoes. So just making it to Vegas is a huge accomplishment. But I've always been one to set my sights higher. So I've always chased the gold buckle. I don't just plan on making the finals every year. I want to win the world. What every cowboy dreams of doing is riding there at Vegas against the top 15 in the world, so it should be fun.
While it's obvious that 2017 has been a great year for JR, one of the best moments of this summer was when he rode and won on Makeup Face at Edmonton's K-Day Rodeo in July. According to JR, he's been waiting for 5 years to ride Makeup Face.
His name is J.R. Vizane, and he comes from Cowley, Wyoming. He's a Wrangler National Finals rodeo qualifier and a former Canadian champion. He will match up with a bucking horse that we call Makeup Face. J.R. Vizane, the superstar from Wyoming, has got a true test. If we're about to get into the 90s, the opportunity is right now. You ready? Let's ride!
No words can describe this lifestyle. I love doing my job, but my job isn't even the real job. People always wait until they're 65 to retire. I say I just retire a little bit every day, getting to do what I love.
J.R. Vizane from Cowley, Wyoming. That bucking horse right there is the pride and joy of Vern McDonald and the entire C5 team. I don't care what the numbers are, you gotta scream at him!
Team Wyoming's newest cowboy is 21-year-old saddle bronc rider Brody Kress. Brody is a southeast Wyoming native who grew up around the rodeo, and he is heading into his first NFR, ranked at number 6.
Brody Kress rode in Casper last night. Big rodeo.
You know, 2017, it's been a really good year. There's been a lot of ups, a lot more ups and downs, and that's always fun with rodeo.
To put it mildly, Brody took 2017 by storm as he won the trifecta of Salinas, Pendleton, and Cheyenne. While other cowboys have won all 3 rodeos at various points in their careers, Brody is the first in history to win all 3 in the same year.
I've been able to have some success every weekend and being able to win big rodeos like Salinas and Cheyenne and Pendleton. It's just all my hard work's paying off. Everything's kind of finally starting to come together, and it's really rewarding, and not only for me but for all the people who have helped me throughout my life to put me in this situation.
The newest and youngest male member of Team Wyoming, Brody is joining the ranks of some of the state's best athletes.
Coming into Team Wyoming, being able to work with guys that have been there and done that, have been to the NFR, stepped up on the big stages and competed and been successful, it's awesome. I've looked up to these guys my whole life, and I see them walking around rodeos still today. I'm like, wow, those guys are cool. Like, these are the guys that I've looked up to. I've always seen guys walking around with Wyoming on their shirts, on their back and stuff, and I thought it was so cool growing up and stuff, seeing guys that are on the team and get to represent Wyoming, and being from here and growing up here and stuff, I owe Wyoming a lot, and I love the place, you know.
Wyoming cowboy. He won Salinas as well. Brody Kress, riding as good as anybody. You bet. Come on, Dodge City, tell him you liked it.
Being able to represent Wyoming while I'm a saddle bronc rider, it's amazing. You know, it is the sport that started rodeo, and I love it. There's so many opportunities through the cowboy life and so many things that you can do with it, and I wouldn't want to be anything else but a cowboy.
While JR and Brody will be competing in bareback and saddle bronc, Dusty Tuckness and Nate Justice will be representing Wyoming as 2 of the 3 bullfighters at NFR. In addition, they are both nominated for Bullfighter of the Year.
I just feel like right now there's a group of bullfighters in the PRCA that the PRCA's never seen before. I mean, there's a lot of good bullfighters.
31-year-old veteran bullfighter Dusty is returning to the NFR for the 9th time this year, where he'll be facing down bulls in the arena with his friend and fellow bullfighting colleague Nate.
It's such an honor and privilege to get to go once. So if you ever get to go again, it's just a true blessing, and I'm so thankful.
A native of Meeteetse, and with nearly 19 years of bullfighting under his belt, Dusty has a strong love for this sport and Wyoming.
Yeah, rodeo in Wyoming, I would say it's a lot different rodeo side of things than other places, but the unique thing about it is, I mean, you look at our license plate, and we got the bronc rider, and I mean, from corner to corner to east and west, you know, it's rodeo-oriented ranch, it's agriculture, and just a cowboy state. And I think that's what's cool about the state of Wyoming is, you know, we're proud to be cowboys. We have the support from the whole state. And so when the announcer introduces us, and whether it's Nate Justice or J.R. Vizane or Seth Blouse or whoever, and they say from the great state of Wyoming or from Gillette or Rock Springs or Douglas, you know, the crowd erupts crazy, and you just feel that support. Being part of Team Wyoming is pretty awesome. To realize coming from a state that is a cowboy state, and not only having support from family and friends in the state, but you're having support from the whole state. and you don't see that anywhere else. We have a whole state backing us in our travels up and down the road, and to be selected and part of this is a privilege and a blessing all in one, and I'm just thankful to be on the team and be able to represent the great state of Wyoming.
From Douglas, Wyoming, the great Nathan Jester.
A bullfighter for about 10 years, Nate is proud to be part of Team Wyoming.
Being on Team Wyoming, it's very special to us Cowboys. I think it's a little more special than what people think. You know, when I first started fighting bulls in the PRCA, I always would see Cowboys wearing this, Wyoming on their shirt, and and being from Wyoming, it had a special spot for me, and I wanted to work hard and get that logo on my shirt. And so just to wear the logo, it just means a lot.
While often overlooked, it's safe to say that the cowboys and cowgirls who compete in the sport of rodeo are some of the best athletes anywhere, including the bullfighters who enter the arena on a nightly basis as they square up with 2,000-pound bulls.
Fighting bulls, it's all about being an athlete. I can speak for myself and Dusty Tuckness because I've seen Dusty work out firsthand. And we're very dedicated to our workouts and making sure we are the better athletes out there, because ultimately our opponent is way bigger than us, way faster than us, way stronger than us. If he gets us, it's gonna hurt. At the end of the day, I think we can rate right up there with the best athletes in the world. To get the call for the NFR for the second time, it was a lot sweeter than the first time, I think. Being to the NFR once before, you kind of know what it is, and I always told myself before I got the NFR, I'll never base my career off of one rodeo in December. But I tell you what, after having the NFR last year, it was a huge goal of mine to get back, because the NFR is something different, it's something special, and it's something I didn't want to miss out on. The only thing I'd really like to say is just thank you to the state of Wyoming. I mean, to be able to go and do what we love, and to have the support from the entire state, and to be able to promote the beautiful state that we get to live in. It's pretty special, and so thank you guys for doing that for us Cowboys. It means a lot to us.
And while all of Wyoming will be cheering on the Cowboys of Team Wyoming this week, Governor Matt Mead has his own message for the Cowboys and Cowgirl of Team Wyoming.
Well, to the rodeo athletes that are competing, one is I'm so proud of you, and two, I live vicariously through you. I wish I would have had that talent. I didn't. But you represent not just the top of the sport, but you represent Wyoming in an incredible way. I've gotten to know some of you over the years, and I'm just proud to say I know you, and I'm proud of the people that you are and how you represent yourself and your families in the state. And we're counting on you to do a wonderful job, as you always do.